And I really respect Chris for bringing me in today. Because this is a topic that might almost seem like, wait, hold on, how does it have to do with money? Like everybody knows, oh my gosh, I need to say thank you. Like, yes, of course, right? Let's be thankful. But I don't want to talk about being thankful today. Now, I will say the word thankful, I will talk about gratitude, but there's a big problem when people largely interact with gratitude. They think it's an emotion, and they think it's a noun. Today, I'm going to challenge that, and I'm going to share with you something. See, you want to know what gratitude really is? It's a verb. It is not a noun, it is an action word. And I'm going to share with you today a really simple 4-step philosophy on how you enact that action. And how that will literally, I make you this promise, after I get done here over the next 45 minutes, you will remember something from this talk today for the rest of your lives. And that is not because of me or my ability as a speaker or what's on the slide. It's because there was something that will happen to you today in regards to this topic that will never leave you. And it will change you. I want to start by telling you a story. Now, this is a little story about a couple friends of mine, and I just call the story A Tale of Two Men. These are two very different men. They live very different lives, and I'm going to read you a little bit of their stories because I hope that you'll learn something from their stories. Now, I'm not going to share with you their names because I want to keep them anonymous, but these are real people. Both of these men happen to live in a 5-bedroom, 2-bathroom home. Now, man number one, he's got a beautiful home. Perfect size for his growing children and beautiful wife. Man number two, he has a home in need of a lot of repair. He's worried at the prospect of financing those repairs, and he thinks, one day maybe I'll be able to buy a home that can fit my growing family. Man number one wakes up in the morning, and as he lays in bed, he feels his healthy heart beating. Takes a deep breath of oxygen and thinks, wow, I've got this fit, amazing body. Man number two also wakes up, but he lays for a moment and he runs his hands down. So some of you know what this is like. Run your hands down your ribs, and you get to around here and you go, where did that come from? And man number two is thinking, I've got a little extra there that I'd love to get rid of. But you know what? I am so doggone busy with my overworked lifestyle, there is no way I'm going to ever be able to go to the gym and lose this junk. Well, both men waking up in the morning, roll over, and look, it's time to get up. It's that early morning wake-up call, and man number one feels that rush of excitement that accompanies the start of a new day. He's going to live his dream life and his dream job. Man number two dreads spending another day at a job he hates, working for too little pay and for people that don't respect him and don't see his talents. Both men make their way to the bathroom and turn on the shower. And the first man number one, hops in the shower, and the water is perfect. It just feels amazing. He bends down and notices a bath toy, and picks up the rubber ducky and places it, and thinks, man, I sure love these kids of mine. Man number two, he gets in the shower, he turns it on. You've had this happen, and it's too cold, and then it's too hot, and then you fiddle with it for 35 seconds until you find just the right temperature. And while he's fiddling, he steps on the bath toy, and he thinks, doggone it, why can't these kids clean up after themselves? After a shower, both men head over to their closets. Man number one opens his closet and looks at all his beautiful suits and shirts and ties. He puts one on. He knows he doesn't have to wear a suit to work, but he chooses to. This makes him feel better. Why not give a little extra effort? Man number two, however, looks at that closet and thinks, everything is old, the suits are tattered, the shirts are stained with animal crackers from the kids at church. If you have kids and you've ever been to church, you have a shirt with an animal cracker or a goldfish stain. One of the two, I guarantee it. It is a universal truth. You can write that down. He looks at his stuff and he goes, gosh, I don't even know why I want to wear a suit. Who am I trying to impress? So he grabs the khakis and the polo, which actually feel a little tight, but thinks, why put in the extra effort? Nobody's really going to care. Both men head to the kitchen. The first man knows his family's going to be waking up soon, so he starts to get breakfast together and he prepares some oatmeal, excited for when they wake. And man number two grabs a bowl of cereal, tries to be as quiet as possible so he doesn't wake the kids. Just as both of them finish up their breakfast, kids and the wife wake up and come to the kitchen. Man number one greets those kids, greets his wife, showers them with kisses and love, and excitedly dishes them up breakfast and asks some questions like, what'd you dream about? Did you have a good sleep? Man number 2 loves his family, so he greets them with hugs and kisses, but suddenly, it seems that the rafters are rattling, as are the windows, because the kids are so freaking loud. And he's going, geez, if I could just get through breakfast and get out of here, I can finally get to my quiet office. First man tries to do a little extra, squeeze out a little bit more time with that family before he leaves. But man number 2 tries to find an excuse of why he's got to go right now. In their own time frames, both men grab their laptops, kiss their wife and the kids goodbye, and walk out the door to their cars. The first man opens the door to his comfortable sporty sedan and fires up that engine. He looks at the gas gauge. He's almost on empty. But he has plenty to get to work, so he powers on the radio so he can take advantage of just a few extra minutes of listening to that audiobook or that personal development program that he knows is going to have an impact on his life. He takes out his phone, wants to check the account balance. He looks at the numbers and goes, man, we are blessed with abundance. Pulls out of the driveway and thinks, this is going to be a great day filled with opportunity to do good things for good people. Man number 2 gets in his car, fires up the engine, and he's looking at the car going, why do I still have this piece of junk? I wanted a nicer car. I thought I'd be further along at this point in my career. I wish I had a nicer car. He looks at the gas gauge. It's on empty. He thinks, geez, I don't even know if I have enough money to go get gas. He pulls out his phone. He looks at the bank account, and lo and behold, there's not much. And he just thinks, how much longer is this going to last? He drives off to work wondering, what's the next thing that's going to go wrong? Now, were there similarities between these 2 men?
Yeah.
I mean, they both had a wife and kids. They both had a house. They both got up and had breakfast and showered and got in their car and went to work. But what were some of the differences?
Perspective.
Ooh. Can I share with you something? This is a true story. And I know these men because they are both me. At different points in my life, working the same job, having the same wife and the same kids in the same routine, having the same car, just at different points in my life, there's only one difference between the 2. It's gratitude. See, I used to wake up every day and I would dread going into work. Now you have to understand for a moment, this is a company that I helped to start, but somehow in my journey of starting the company and hiring employees, we managed to hire this employee that somehow became my manager, and then I let him relegate me to a virtually pointless position where I did almost nothing, and I hated it. I was an employee, and I was upset, and I was angry, and I was still traveling. I was traveling all over the country having to speak for the company, but I was getting no money for doing that. It was a part of the job, and now I wasn't working a 40-hour work week. No, because I go on week-and-a-half-long trips away from my family. I wasn't working a few hours. I was working all the time. And I hated it, and I'd come into work, and I'd be so angry, and I'd get into my car, and I'd think, why isn't the company more successful? And I'd look at my bank account and go, gosh dang it, why isn't there more there? One of the things that I regret the most is during this time, we had a baby. And I'd go travel. And I would come home and felt obligated to give my wife a break because this little boy of ours thought that it was a really good idea to wake up every 2 hours for the first year of his life. And I'd give my wife a break and I'd wake up and do all the nighttime feedings and tending on him. But I still had to get up in the morning and go to work, and some mornings I'd wake up, you guys, and I'd walk around the bed and I'd look at this incredible, extraordinary, amazing woman who has sacrificed everything for our family to be home with our kids. And I would actually, shamefully now, think, you know what, yeah, you just sleep. Go ahead. I'm the one who has to go to work. You just sleep. Yeah, please don't get up. Heaven forbid. I'm the one traveling. I'm the one working. You just take your rest since you get to stay home all day. That is not a man I wanted to ever be. Everything changed for me when I discovered something. This tiny little principle of gratitude. But my friends, gratitude wasn't enough. See, I'd heard a talk from a gentleman by the name of Darren Hardy years ago. Anybody ever heard of Darren Hardy? Anybody read The Compound Effect, The Entrepreneur Roller Coaster? Fantastic books. In fact, I'm literally in the middle of The Compound Effect again. Darren Hardy gave this talk actually at an event that I would not have been at had it not been for Chris Miles. Chris, when you and I went there, was Darren Hardy at the event that you and I went to? So was that the first time I went?
First or second?
First or second. Chris and I have, we share a mentor, a gentleman by the name of James Malachek, who's had a huge impact on my life, and Chris is the one that introduced me to him. And Darren Hardy spoke at this event, and Darren Hardy started to talk about this thing that he did, where he did this gratitude journaling thing, and I never really heard about that. But it wasn't so much this gratitude journal ideas. He said something, and I wrote it down in my journal, and I ended up looking back at that journal years later when I hit rock bottom, and I decided that my life sucked, and I had to turn it around because everything was terrible. It wasn't really terrible, I just thought it was. I went back to that journal, and I found this little line, and it said, find something for 21 days to be thankful for. And so I thought, okay, well, I remember him talking about a gratitude journal, so I did. I started to keep one. Anybody ever kept a gratitude journal? Yeah, okay, awesome. Gratitude journals are awesome, but guess what? It's not enough. I had to learn that. Because I started to keep this gratitude journal, and I keep it for a few days, and then just like anybody else who's ever journaled, maybe it kind of goes away for a little while, and then I pick it up again, like, oh my gosh, I have to be thankful, let me write it again, and I write a couple other days, and then it's like, oh, I'm busy. So gratitude, I hadn't anchored to it yet. So I thought, I've really got to change this. I know something inside me is telling me that gratitude is going to be the difference maker. I got to figure out a way to channel this thing. And the gratitude journal's not working, so I decided to set a reminder on my phone. And every single day, my phone would remind me to do a certain set of things. I call it my 7 daily decisions. And one of those was to be thankful. And so when the reminder would go off, I'd be like, oh yeah, okay, so sometime today I'm going to be thankful. And so at some point, usually at the end of the day, I'd be like, oh yeah, I've got to be thankful. And so I would just think, I'm thankful for that. Well, that was better, but it still wasn't working. I still haven't changed everything. Until I discovered the secret. It's something that I've come to call flipping the gratitude switch. The only way I could make it stick was not to get a journal and think about something during the day that I could be thankful for. It wasn't to have a reminder that at some point I'd be thankful for something. It was that as soon as the reminder would go off, in that exact moment, I would look around and I'd go, what am I thankful for? I'm standing. That's awesome. There's a lot of people that don't stand. I would do this thing where internally I flipped this switch. And then I started to discover that I don't just have to do it once a day. In fact, what I started to do is throughout the day, something would come up that would be frustrating. You miss a light. You run into traffic. You go to the store to get a gallon of milk, and they're out of 2%, and so you have to buy whole, or you have to buy 1%. All those little tiny things that nobody cares about, but we seem to, and we let them just kind of like bug us, right? We have a computer, we have a laptop, and we go, oh my gosh, could it be any slower? What's wrong with the internet? We do these things, and we're like, oh my gosh, and so we get frustrated with all this little stuff, and so what I started to do is in the moment, when that would show up for me, I'd go, hey, is that a frustration? Oh, this is awesome. Okay, what do I do? Okay, I'm frustrated, so what can I be thankful for? And I would find something embedded in that thing, and I would flip this switch and feel gratitude, and stuff started to change. Guys, ask yourself this question. What can turn hardship or challenge in your life into a springboard for success? What is it? Gratitude. What can turn feeling offended into being empowered? What is it? Gratitude. You ever considered that? How many of you have ever been offended before? Yeah. You know what? How many of you have been offended today? Chris has been speaking all day. We hate him. No, you love him. We all get offended all the time. Somebody says something and they don't mean anything by it, but we get offended. Well, what if you could turn that offense into empowerment? I'm not going to lay all this out today because we don't have time, but I want you to consider how gratitude can play a role in your life. What's the one thing that will never guarantee you'll never have failure again? Gratitude. What's the one thing that can always turn poverty into prosperity? This is so important for this event right here. What is the one thing that can always turn poverty into prosperity? What is it? Gratitude. Let me tell you why. You remember when I was in The Tale of Two Men and I used to look at my phone and I'd go, oh my gosh, there's just not enough money there. What I didn't tell you is the amount of money that was in the account when I was man number 2 was the same amount of money that was in the account when I was man number 1. The difference was this. if there was $200 in the account, I would think, wow, that is more than $199. I have more. I look at it and go, oh wow, so, well, there was times when I'd look and go, so, well, okay, so we have food that we need to buy for the fam. I maybe can't do the whole trip to Costco, but you know what, there's enough here. I can go get some bread and meat, and we're gonna be fine. If you've ever started a company, you know the struggle of the entrepreneur. And it changed just by the way I viewed it. What's the one thing that can take a loss or a tragedy and turn it into a new beginning filled with hope? Gratitude. What's the one thing that can make it so you never have a bad day again? What is it? Let me hear you say it.
Gratitude.
Yeah, doggone it, you better believe it. Do you know that you don't ever have to have a bad day again? I want you to say it right now. I don't ever have to have a bad day again. Go.
I don't ever have to have a bad day again.
Well, doggone it, you're exactly right. High five your neighbor. Yeah, because it's awesome and you should. That's a low five and you guys lost points. No one started. Get it up. Come on. Oh, there it is. Thank you. I'm playing there. I'm going half. What? And I'm in the crowd. You don't ever have to have a bad day again because there's this thing called gratitude. And it's not an emotion, it is an action. It is a verb. It is something that is real and that is tangible. And with your permission, I'm going to give you a simple 4-step philosophy that will show you exactly how to take any frustration and any bad day and anything that ever happens to you for the rest of your life and through a simple 4-step process, through this what I call flip philosophy, to flip the gratitude switch, change it. Can I share with you that philosophy?
Yes.
In order to do that, I want to make sure you understand this. You notice that I've got a light switch on my shirt, and I got to tell you where I got this shirt. This is a pretty neat little shirt, and my in-laws, who are awesome, they have some shirts made for my daughter, my sons, my wife, for me, for them, and we just wear them as a family. We're like the weird kids, right? Go to SeaWorld, it's like we're all wearing matching shirts, and then people laugh at us and throw produce, but it's okay. We have these shirts because this is a constant reminder of me. I want to show you something. If you think that I'm one of those speakers that's like, oh, let me think, what's a really good topic? Maybe I could go make money selling this. Then you don't know me because I want to show you. Now my phone is cracked, but that's okay. Check this out. You ready for it?
Ready.
Here it comes. This, can you turn on phone? There it is. That's my screensaver. See this? There's 2 of them in our home. Right on the light switch cover. I want you to think for a moment. In fact, close your eyes. No falling asleep. If I hear snoring, I will kick you in the toe. Close your eyes. And I want you to imagine walking in to a massive cavernous room, but it is pitch black dark. And your job is to get from one side of the room all the way to the other side of the room. But my friends, there are pitfalls in the way. There are things that could hurt you. There are ways that you may falter. But at the end of the room, if you can get there, you will find immeasurable wealth. You will find that one thing, whatever it is, that will free your life forever. But you've got to get from here to there. But it is pitch black dark and you can see nothing. How many of you are ready to take a step? Are you? Can I give you just a little hint of what can make it a little bit better? I want you all, don't actually do this because you might inappropriately touch your neighbor, but imagine taking your left hand and reaching it out and flipping the switch on the wall. And the entire room is illuminated. Now who's ready to take a step? Yeah. Open your eyes. You see, isn't that interesting? There is all of this stuff stored inside of this little switch. Well, it's not in this switch, but this is our gateway to it. And we go like that, and then there's all this energy, there's all this stuff that's stored there. Do you know that that's exactly what we have inside? Listen, let me tell you something. You could walk into this room and it could be pitch black dark and you have no idea what's here. And if you need to get from there to there, and you're not sure if you're going to bump your toe or hurt your knee, maybe there's something magnificent and gorgeous in this room. But if you don't flip that switch, are you going to know where the pitfalls are going to be? No. Are you going to be able to see something beautiful and actually recognize its true beauty unless you flip that switch? No. When you flip that switch, what is beautiful becomes more beautiful. What is amazing becomes more amazing because it becomes illuminated. What was previously dark and unable to be seen is now illuminated as well, and you can see it and you can navigate. The flip philosophy that I'm going to share with you is the process to simply flip that switch in your life. You guys ready to rock?
Yeah.
All right. So, now the flip philosophy, at the end of the day, it's a 4-part philosophy. It's a simple process that guides you through making tiny, regular, daily, conscious decisions to activate gratitude during the most frustrating times of the day in order to immediately increase happiness and contentment. I hadn't planned on doing this, but I'm going to ask you, if you just keep it in your mind. I'm going to give you an opportunity later to, if I gave you copies of these slides, would it be helpful?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So later, I'm going to let you, I was going to give you something else I'll still give it to you. It's just a really simple guide that I put on my corkboard next to my desk that kind of helps me remember the flip philosophy. And I'm going to give that to everybody. I'm just going to have you text the number later, and then it'll get emailed out to you tonight. I'll include a copy of the slides if you want me to, okay? Is that okay? Cool. Happy to do it, you guys. So I want you to have this. It's important to me because what we have here, it's not just a philosophy and it's not just an idea. If I have anything to say about it, this is a movement that needs to sweep the world. And let me tell you right now, this is the first time I have ever been able to share this content in this way. I've been talking about gratitude for years, but I just finished my book a month ago. And it is scheduled, it's called Flipping the Gratitude Switch, and it is scheduled for a big summer release. And so this content finally took form when before it was shapeless. So I love being here, you guys. I'm recording myself. I wonder if I'm out of the frame. If I am, sorry, camera that's recording me, but I'm glad that you're here. And I want you to consider, there's something here that resonates with you. You take this and just share it with somebody at some point, sometime. Jeez. Isn't it cool to know you can change the world through a simple act? Imagine if everybody was flipping the gratitude switch. You don't even know what the philosophy is yet, but you already get it. Imagine if everybody was doing that on a regular basis. Man, the line at the store might be a little bit more pleasant, right? F for flip stands for find the frustration. Man number 2 was really good at finding the frustration. Something happens and he's going, oh, okay, well, I don't like that. There's a toy that I stepped on, the water is too warm or too cold, I'm too tired. There's those little things that happen. Think of what man number 2 went through, right? There's all that stuff. There's the account, there's the car, there's the breakfast, there's the loud kids, there's the toy, there's the water, there's all of that stuff. And all of it is tiny little frustrations that if he chooses can affect him negatively and it starts his day off really, really bad. But every single one of those could be considered one of those daily little frustrations that we have. By the way, give yourself permission to acknowledge frustration when it shows up, because here's why. You now are going to be given a tool of how to deal with it. So step 1 is to find the frustration. Something happens and you don't like it. You got to isolate what is that thing that is frustrating you. Isolate that thing. Then you move on to the L, which is I call locate the awesome. I'm the chief officer of awesome, and I like to see things through the eyes of awesome. And so I like to find something that's awesome. Man number 1 was really good at this. Man number 1 saw the bath toy and thought, man, I have kids that I love. Man number 1 looked at the bank account and went, it's more than it could be. You're going to hear from my daughter in a minute, who's 6, who understands this very well. My 3.5-year-old understands this very well. I know if they can get it, you can. We govern our home with these principles. We have 3 kids, from 6 down to 1.5. The 1.5-year-old, I can't get him to figure it out yet. I'm like, geez, just because you can't talk. I don't know, it's weird. Locate the awesome. People call it a silver lining. I don't want it to be a silver lining because if it's up to me, the whole stinking cloud is gold, baby. Because whatever that thing is, it acts as an opportunity to become something else. So whatever that frustration is, whatever it is, whether it's big or small, it could be big like job loss. It could be big like I lost my home. Let me tell you a story. Before I understood what flipping the gratitude switch was, I would do it from time to time. I didn't know I was doing it, but I would do it. About a year or 2 after our company started, we hadn't been paying ourselves salaries. We were all just operating off the money that was coming through the company doors, and we had hired some employees to help manage some things, and sometimes there just wasn't a lot left over for the owners. And I got a foreclosure notice because I hadn't been able to pay my mortgage. And I remember that day, and I remember sitting on my couch, letting the weight of the world bear down on me, and feeling like a terrible provider, feeling like it was stupid to go and start a company when I never had any business experience. And I let that crush me. And then this thing happened. And I went, what if I lost the house? Like, what if? Are you telling me I wouldn't be able to find a home for my family? Are you telling me I can't go find a friend, a family member, travel back to California and live with my parents if need be, and live under their roof? You better believe whatever it took, I was going to keep a roof over my family's head. I would keep food on that table. I would do whatever it took, and it hit me. I realized I don't need the house. What is the house? The house is nothing more than a house. Who cares how big or how small it is? It's those kids. It's my wife. At the time, we only had my one little girl. It was that family, and there was no way I was going to let them starve or lose the roof over their head. And I started to feel thankful that even if I lost the house, I don't need it, because I have them. I have friends who don't have them, who are dying to get married and can't find that person to share their life with, who are trying and trying to conceive and they can't. And here I have this amazing wife. Here I have this gorgeous little girl, and I would do anything for them. I don't need the house. Gratitude switch flipped. I just didn't know that was what I was doing. So you locate the awesome. Then you move on to the I. This is where it gets fun. This is where the switch actually gets flipped. This is where you invest gratitude. This is where now you go, okay, so that was frustrating, got it. So I'm going to find something that's awesome. Okay, so that's awesome. Oh my gosh, now I'm actually going to feel thankful for it. And the reason why I say you invest gratitude is because generally speaking, when you invest, this crowd knows, what are you supposed to get when you invest? A return. And if you're a good investor, do you get a higher rate of return? Do you get more back than what you actually invested? Yeah, friends, gratitude will give you this unlimited rate of return. It's unbelievable. So you invest gratitude. Feel that gratitude, initiate it, and now infuse it into that awesome that you found located inside the frustration, and it will give you a return. This is where it gets awesome, because this is where the energy lifts, and this is where you go, oh my gosh, so life is actually kind of cool, so that thing isn't so bad. And now you go to the P, which is power up with something I call gratitude. Notice it's on my hat. This is the idea that gratitude fuels life. Gratitude fuels you. Gratitude fuels business. If you had a car, let's say it's a McLaren, and let's say it's a super expensive car. I don't care if it's $300,000 to $500,000, and it is the most perfectly engineered car on the face of the planet. And you have the keys, and you purchased it, and it is ready to rock, and you own it, and it doesn't have a drop of gas in it. How fast are you going to go?
No.
Right? Nowhere. But as soon as you put gas in it, your whole world opens up. Gratitude acts as that fuel for your life. You power up with gratitude because, see, as soon as you find the frustration, locate the awesome, and now you invest some gratitude, now you charge up and you have this fuel, and now it carries you on to the next frustration. And then when you find the next frustration, guess what you do? You find the frustration, you locate the awesome, you invest the gratitude, you get another surge, and then it carries you through to the next frustration. And then when the next frustration shows up, hey, you found the frustration, you locate the awesome, you invest gratitude, and now you have this energy, and how it carries you through. See how it goes? Simple four-step philosophy, isn't that neat? And it works. And that philosophy is how you flip the gratitude switch. If you want, I've put together a one-page, I call it a cheat sheet, and it just has the FLIP and what each one of them are, and just kind of the definition at the top. So if you text gratitude to 33444, and I'll put this slide up again later, I'm going to move on. I have some other really good stuff to share with you. Chris, how much more time do I have?
About 10 minutes.
Okay, perfect. So I will also, if you text this, I will also send you a copy of these slides. I'm going to have to get it uploaded into my email responder, so give me some time and I'll get it out to you guys tonight, okay? But I'll give you that cheat sheet, and I'm gonna give you some tips on how to use that cheat sheet just so you can use it. No strings attached. Let me just give this to you. And then I'll give you these slides as well, because it's important to me that you have this, okay? So Gratitude at 33444, and I'll get that out to you tonight. Now, I'm gonna share with you real quickly the 5 reasons why gratitude/gratifuel is the largest driver of success. Number 1, success is embedded in every failure. Gratitude alone can catapult failure into success, can't it? Because if you fail, guess what you have the ability to do? It's frustrating. So find something awesome inside of it, right? Locate the awesome and best gratitude in that thing and let it charge you on to your next failure. I love failing. In fact, I don't ever fail. Do you know that? I don't know if you fail, but I never fail. I don't get failures, I only get stepping stones to success. That's all I get. And so when failure shows up, it's just a stepping stone to success, but it only is that if I'm willing to be thankful for the failure. You never have to fail again. Isn't that awesome? There's success embedded in every failure. You will learn something inside of every failure that will catapult you. There has never been a successful person on the face of the planet that has been successful without failure. Gratitude helps you find that thing that gets you on to the success. This is just a quote. The gift of gratitude enables our appreciation. I love this quote. The gift of gratitude enables our appreciation for what we have to constrain desires for what we want. A grateful person is rich in contentment. An ungrateful person suffers in the poverty of endless discontentment. This is the person that complains about everything, right? Oh, it's not warm enough. Now it's too warm. Now it's not cold enough. And oh my gosh, I need a new this, and I need a new that, and there's not enough this, and this is too expensive. And you know them because they're in your life, you get it. They suffer in the poverty of endless discontentment. With gratitude, you are rich in contentment. Number 2, a lack of humility creates a lack of humanity. Gratitude is the greatest way to silence the ego. Now, I gotta tell you, I struggle with this. I've spent years of my life wanting people to tell me I'm pretty, which is hard because I'm not very pretty. But what I mean by that is I've always wanted validation. Tell me I'm awesome. Tell me I've done something for you, especially how I was feeling during those years in my company when I was terribly discontent. I just wanted somebody to be like, Kev, you contributed so much, thank you so much. That was a pure ego play. Why? So I could feel good about myself? So I could high-five myself? Yeah, you're awesome. But as soon as I started to feel gratitude, all of a sudden, humility was introduced. And with that humility, I got to see people. I stopped seeing money and I started seeing people. And I stopped seeing money and I started seeing value. And now all of a sudden I'm giving value, not trying to just take money in return. It was about them more than it was about me. Les Brown, fantastic guy, always says, don't let your agenda get in the way of what your audience needs to hear. I love that. That requires humility. How can you feel that unless I'm thankful for you, that you are here, that we are together, that we're talking about this? Number 3. Another quote from David Evander. We may expect to make more money. This is big, you guys. We may expect to make more money or get a raise, but through the gift of gratitude, we may find a greater capacity to change our own circumstances rather than expecting our circumstances to be changed by someone or something else. You're in control. Number 3. Living in the past or the future causes you to ignore the present. Gratitude helps you appreciate every moment of your life. Gratitude journaling, I went back. Let me think of something I was thankful for so that I can try to bring it right here. Now that was cool, it helps, it's good. It's a good thing. You can change your life with gratitude journaling, but I needed more. And here's the other thing we do. We love to do this thing where we're like, I'm for sure going to make more money one day, bro. And I'm going to get a way nicer car and a way nicer house, and I'm going to go on way better vacations, bro. Don't we? We do that. It's always about the thing that's coming. It's about, oh my gosh, that's going to be awesome. And one day when this happens, and we do that. What about this? What about right now? It's the only place you are gaining power. You can't affect your future if you don't do something right now. I have this quote that I love to share, which is this. You cannot own success. You can only rent it, but rent is due every day. Make sense? Eckhart Tolle, it's through gratitude for the present moment that the spiritual dimension of life opens up. A life fraught with difficulty, number 4, a life fraught with difficulty is a life consumed with worry. Don't worry, guys. Literally, that song, Don't Worry, Be Happy, super profound. And it was awesome 20 years ago when it was out. But really, don't worry. Gratitude allows you to see every challenge as a gift from heaven. One of my favorite quotes from Thomas S. Monson: to express gratitude is gracious and honorable, to enact gratitude is generous and noble, but to live with gratitude ever in our hearts is to touch heaven. Number 5, gratitude is not a noun, gratitude is a verb. Everybody say gratitude's a verb.
Gratitude's a verb.
Daily activation of gratitude creates a permanent change of being. You get to exist as a new creature when you flip the gratitude switch regularly. When you find the frustration, you locate the awesome, you invest the gratitude, and you power up the gratitude. That now becomes something. And you are a significantly different person. True story. This happened today. So I have this friend in California, okay, totally like polar opposite of me. Everything from like political persuasion to religion to gender to where she's at in her life and where I'm at in my life. But she said, Kev, I would love to read your book and be one of your peer reviewers. And I said, Sue, that would be awesome. So I sent it to her. Man, anybody here Grey's Anatomy fans?
Yep.
Anybody watch it last night? Okay, so I won't tell you what happened. Okay, so I'm not a Grey's Anatomy fan, but apparently a thing happened, and she put something about it on Facebook. And so she got all the haters like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're saying this, and how can you, blah, blah, blah. Right? She did that sort of thing, so she posted today. And she was like, I'm so tired. It's like, I'm so tired of people saying this stuff, because you know what? Like, social media, And so I posted in her comments, and I said, hey, Sue, give it a little flip, F-L-I-P in caps. She posted again, and she said, I apologized earlier for my post. I started to think about everything that I have in my life and how pointless that show and what I was posting and what everybody was saying was. And I started to think about this amazing house that I have and this roof over my head and this job that I love and I'm in good shape. And she totally flipped that gratitude switch, and she does it every single day, and she posts about it, and it's awesome. See, she learned it. She's not perfected it because she just learned it, but a simple reminder, like a gratitude switch cover, right? As an example, or something on her phone, or my post, or a cheat sheet that could be on the wall goes, oh yeah, let me do that again. Okay? I'm going to skip over, I love these quotes, but I really want to show this to you. Okay, because this is the last little bit. So Chris, like 5 more, like maybe 7 more minutes. Is that okay? Because this is a 3-minute video. Is that okay?
6 minutes, 30 seconds.
You got it. Okay, so my kids get this. I teach my kids this idea of flipping the gratitude switch. And they totally get it, and I love it. Because it is simple, and they understand, they look at life differently, and it's amazing. So last night, I knew I was going to come talk to you guys today, and I'm like, we were outside playing, and I turned on my phone, I said, hey, Brooklyn. You'll see.
Okay, so tell us how...
Introduce me.
Oh, sorry. Okay. This is my amazing daughter, Brooklyn Clayson, who's 6 years old and so smart and beautiful. And Brooklyn, tell everybody how flipping the gratitude switch has totally changed your life.
One time, I sprained my ankle, but it still kind of hurts. But I can walk on it a little. I can put a little bit of pressure on it. But I'm just so glad that another thing didn't happen to me.
How can you flip the gratitude switch in your mind? Like, what do you go through in your mind to make that happen?
You think of the thing that you did, and you think of other things you know about that was even better, and you decide which is better and which is badder. Then you think of better things that happen than the other.
This is my 3.5-year-old son, amazing little boy named Braxton, or big boy. Braxton, tell all the people, how do you flip the gratitude switch? How does it? What happens when you flip the gratitude switch?
Living that my life with the gratitude switch all day, and I do it every day. I want to tell you a story. So one day, a guy was like running a race, and he made a bomb. He put the bomb in his backpack, and there was a girl running right by his backpack. And the bomb exploded, and it blew up her foot. And she had to have a metal leg. I'm glad that my foot isn't that bad. I'm sad it happened to she learned how to run again.
What do you need to do if you're sad? What can you do?
Flip the gratitude switch.
Is it hard to flip the gratitude switch or easy?
I do it every day.
What do you do that like reminds you to flip the gratitude switch?
We had 2 switches of it in our house. And whenever life is not that good, I can just go this way in one of those 2 rooms, which is my room and bathroom. But and guess what? We can flip it and then, bam, you're happy. That's
So-
all it's about.
These people that are listening to you are parents of awesome kids like you. How would you tell them that they can teach their kids about flipping the gratitude switch?
You're like, dude, no, you're a speaker.
Who I am?
Like,
That's true.
you can teach them about flip the gratitude switch.
This is a song he sings all the time.
Flip the gratitude switch.
If you didn't catch that, I was like, so Brooklyn, tell them how they can teach their kids. And that's when she was like, bro, you're a speaker. You can just teach them. So I did not prep my kids. I asked the questions as you heard them and I filmed. And it was so stinking cute. And I'm sure you can't tell that I'm a proud daddy. But honestly, the thing that meant the most to me is no matter what, my friends, whether my book sells 1 copy or 10 million, there's at least 2 that are going to have a copy for the rest of their lives. And if they can take some of these principles and apply them, do you know what that means to me? My life's work could be considered complete with that. So what if you could teach your kids? I'm giving you 5 simple steps and then I'm done, Chris. Download the Flip Philosophy cheat sheet that I'm going to give you. Share it with your kids as a lesson. For those of you that do family night, do it as family night. Talk about gratitude. Come up with some stories. Talk about how it works. Or depending on if you homeschool, do it as a lesson, something like that. Teach them these principles. Give them something. Create a gratitude switch for your home. I'm in the process of getting these mass produced, but I am trying to get all the stuff done so that they're ready when my book comes out, so that they're available and I can give them out to people. But I have to go through all this stuff. The way that I made mine is I did this, and I put it on a piece of paper, and you could Google how to like Mod Podge, light switch. Is that what it's called? Mod Podge? That's a craft word. Yeah, that thing. But you could figure out how to make a custom light switch. So just do this on paper, and then do that thing that she said, and just you could YouTube it, and it'll show you how simple it is, and then just put it up in your house and give it to your kids. Put it in their room as a reminder. 3, use the terminology flipping the gratitude switch daily in the home. My kids remind me. So yesterday morning, my son, my 3.5-year-old, he's playing with this glass, and it's like a glass, and he knocks it over on the table. Luckily, it didn't break, and I'm like, buddy, come on, pal, you know you're not supposed to play with glasses like that. So he got kind of sad because I told him that he shouldn't do it. So he leaves the room, and then down the hall I hear, hey, Dad, can you just flip the gratitude switch? And I said, I sure can, buddy. I'm thankful that it didn't break. Come in here, let me give you a hug. So the terminology happens in our home, and my kids remind me like all the time. It's awesome. Because if anybody needs the gratitude switch more than, I need it more than anybody. Number 5, become a consistent flipper yourself. Guys, flip the gratitude switch. Find the frustration in the things that happen throughout the day. Locate something that's awesome. Infuse, invest, initiate gratitude. Power up with gratitude until that next frustration comes. And think about that. Say things in your mind like, oh, okay, I'm frustrated, okay, I'm gonna find, okay, I'm thankful, oh, I feel good. Gratitude switch flipped. Now, if you want to search anything that has to do with this, I've used this hashtag gratitude, and so if you go on Facebook or Twitter, you're going to find that hashtag. I mean, look, there's only a small handful of people that know about this, but you'll see some posts, and it'll give you an idea. You could go to gratitude.com, which is a blog that I started. I don't post on it very regularly right now because I'm so busy getting the book and stuff like that together, but I have a lot of blog posts on there that you can go and read that I hope will act as a benefit, and I sincerely hope that everybody would consider, when the book comes out, I'd love if you consider investing in a copy of the book, and I would hope that that would be
something that can become a landmark book in your home, and it can make a difference for you and loved ones. So guys, at the end of the day, you know, this is the number again. Just text gratitude to 33444. And tonight I'll make sure that I get you the copy of the slides, and I'll get you the flip cheat sheet so that you can have that. And I'm going to send you a couple other things too that I think might be helpful over the next couple of days if you want them. I'm going to leave you with this quote. Could I suggest that we see gratitude as a disposition, a way of life that stands independent of our current situation? In other words, I'm suggesting that instead of being thankful for things, we focus on being thankful in our current circumstances, whatever they may be. Guys, I want you to flip the gratitude switch. I want you to think of this philosophy. I want you to use it. And I want you to start saying, gratitude switch flip. And I want you to think, yes, I'm just going to flip the gratitude switch. If you can do this, if you can infuse this in your life, what can it mean? Becoming more aware of what gratitude can mean for you and how it can play a role in every facet of your life. What could that look like? Imagine how much easier life would be if you truly realized you don't ever have to have a bad day again. Guys, I hope that what I've shared has been helpful. I hope that we can stay connected on Facebook and Twitter, and I'm going to send you some stuff. But from the bottom of my heart, thank you for letting me be here. Chris, thank you for letting me share this. And thank you guys. You are now all, I'm going to wave a wand, you are now all officially part of the Gratitude team.